section that had been overlaid at one point, and then they came back and milled out the inlay, or milled out the overlay in this outside lane and refilled. Looking back, you can see all the signs are in good shape. That's the back of our advanced sign right up there. I believe the traffic monitoring installation is actually down at the end of the section. Out here you can see the sign for the right-of-way, and all the delineators are in order. Well, I take that back. We've got the delineators here at the beginning of the section. The delineators at the end of the section are missing. As you'll see as we walk through this section, quite a bit of fatigue. Difficult to see the fatigue except for the fact that the pumping stains are fairly evident. You can see all the little white lines kind of highlighting where that fatigue cracking is. We've got a little bit more sporadic fatigue cracking in the inside wheel path. But the outside wheel path is pretty consistent almost throughout the section. Typically about 3/10 of a meter wide, but there are some stretches where it widens out to almost as much as 3/4 of a meter to a meter. It's fairly extreme in a few places. The rust marks that you see are the iron ore aggregate. It's eroded just a little bit. Leaves an interesting little stain. A little bit more evident there in the inside lane where they left the original overlay material. Again, you can see just an occasional mark here and there in the inside lane. In places just you'd have to rate it as just a transverse crack. Outside lane, it's a little bit more consistent, more interconnected cracking, fairly obvious fatigue. Here again you can see the inside wheel path, the fatigue is a little bit more apparent. And again, because of the pumping, that makes it high severity. Looking back on, well, here you can see where it's widening out again, just past station 3 there out to about half a meter. But looking back, if you get the right sun angle on it, you can start to see a lot of those cracks. A little bit more apparent. You don't have to rely quite as heavily on the pumping to see that fatigue. Almost all the way to the end of the section. And you can see the pattern getting more and more well defined. The inside lane also becoming a little bit more distinct. Not a lot of pieces shelling out yet. I would imagine that's not far off. Although, interestingly enough, when this section was last surveyed in 1995, it had quite a bit of fatigue cracking at that point in time, so it really hasn't deteriorated excessively in the past couple of years. I think there is more fatigue, but still not really a lot more severe as far as loss and things of that nature. That brings us to the end then of section 481116 here on US 259 south of Mount Enterprise. We'll be, after we conclude here, we'll move north to the other side of Mount Enterprise for section 481113. With that, I'll go ahead and conclude the video here. We'll move on to the next test section. Looking back to the south. You see the sign at the right of the way. We're looking kind of at the side of it. Looking back, you can see the back of the Sharp sign just up the road there a little ways, right there. So all the signs are in good shape. We've gone ahead